want to welcome you to the show today. I am so very excited to have my guest here today, and his name is Frank Schubert. I hope I said that right. Hi, Frank. How are you?
I'm fine, and you said it right. That's my name, Frank,
Oh,
but you can also say Frank.
okay. Well, Frank, thank you so much for joining us today.
You're
You know,
welcome.
it's different today. We're doing like a YouTube video, and we're also kind of going back and forth with a lot of different questions. You have questions for me, and I got questions for you. Awesome. So, I wanted to kind of jump into this interview because this is going to be one of those interviews that's going to be kind of controversial, but yet it's going to be eye-opening. So I want you to give a little bit about yourself, if you don't mind.
Okay. First, I wanted to become a teacher, and I studied in Freiburg pedagogic things and a little bit philosophy and anthropology and such things and biology. And then I thought it would be even better to become it's something who works and lives, somebody who works and lives with handicapped people. Also,
That is nice. I like that.
thank you.
So how did that work out for you? Was that more satisfying and life thrilling than what you had perceived you wanted to do prior?
That was really more satisfying because as a teacher, you have 30 pupils before you, and first it's all those, and I was happy when they worked in group, and I could go to one table for four pupils. That's nicer than these mass of pupils. And in my job now, you have to do with number of clients that's so small that you can build a real relationship.
Yeah.
And as a teacher, it was always important for me to show the pupils the reason why what it's good for to be prepared for life, the real life connection. And in my job now, it's real life.
Well, that's true. That's
Yeah.
true. And I'm so happy that you did that. There's not a lot of people out there that can actually work with people who are in need, that need more than just like a pat on the back, but they need assistance. They need love. They need a little bit more to understand that, yes, they are people and yes, they are loved too. That is amazing. Thank you for
Yeah.
doing that. That is wonderful.
Thank you.
You also have an additional work. You have a deep the historical figures, first internationally celebrated pop stars. Tell
Yes.
me about that.
Um, I I first read of this person when I was at the University of Education in Freiburg, when I had a seminar, a course about anthropology, and when I prepared, he impressed me the most because I also studied biology, and this person is often called the Prince of Biology, and everybody knows Darwin, but Darwin was often misunderstood. For example, Huxley, who called himself Darwin's bulldog, he said it's survival of the fittest, and life is justified. And Darwin not only said life is just competition.
Yeah.
Darwin wrote about cooperation too. But the social Darwinists only saw competition. But that's just one of two things. And this man, Oscar Wilde, called the beautiful white Christ, he went to the magazine 19th Century because it was in the 19th century, and the title of the magazine was 19th Century. And Huxley, Darwin's bulldog, published his article about survival of the fittest, and he said, I have many things to say that there's also cooperation, and two people from this magazine said, do it. And one was a man regarded by Darwin himself as very intelligent, and this man said to him, this is real Darwinism, write it. And so he wrote some articles for this magazine, and it came out as a book named Mutual Aid. Mutual Aid. He wrote it in English language in exile.
Wow. Wow. That is an interesting title. I don't get a chance to read everything. And I know about Darwin, but Darwin, I mean, there's like so many different books out about Darwin and by subsidiaries of Darwin studies and Darwinism. And there's just so much, and it's like a rabbit hole that you have to go down, to get to the actual finishing point. But my God, I mean, you have done that.
To make it short, many people think Darwin says trust competition, but that's what the social Darwinists says, but not Darwin himself. Darwin wrote in a later book about a blind pelican, a bird, and other pelicans flew many miles to bring him food.
Wow.
And a baboon monkey, a little baboon, helped a man in the zoo who was attacked by a big monkey, and he cried and helped him. Otherwise, the man perhaps would have died. And that's mutual aid.
Wow. Wow.
And
wow. That's kind of like something like what humans should do. Yeah. I wanted to share, if you don't mind, are you finished? Because I think that people, you're talking and everything is awesome and it's great, but I think that your work speaks for itself too, because you have an amazing YouTube channel. And it talks about art and everything, and I absolutely love it. I'm going to go ahead and share your YouTube channel now. And then you do have a video that we're going to go ahead and hit on really quick. And oh my gosh, that is like, okay, so you took the time to actually talk about the triumphs of the white Christ. And that is by Oscar Wilde. And you go down these rabbit holes that most people would not even dare come near. Like they wouldn't even go near to
Thank you.
Do this. And I absolutely love it. And I wanted to share your channel. It's Frank Schubert. I'm going to go ahead and subscribe now. And so that everybody can subscribe to and be a part of your journey. This to me is just an amazing thing. You're sitting here, you're talking with people, you're engaging, and you're being approachable. It's just wonderful.
Thank you.
Well, so tell me about your channel. Tell everybody else about your channel.
Yes, my channel different things.
It's about you, right? It's about who you are and what you think and questions that you may have and interviews and things like that.
The things you see on the screen
Mm-hmm.
is my first interview, and this is my second now. And before that, I did videos about things I thought about, and those videos we see now, it's all about game theory, and I had a big success with the strategy, and nobody published it. I informed international media, and you're the first who cares about it.
Wow.
Thank you.
Anytime. I mean, these are deep thoughts and deep revelations. They come from a place of actual studying, and a lot of people don't want to do that nowadays. So thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
So, I mean, your channel goes really deep. People really need to have the time to open up their ears and their eyes. Do you have the translations in English on your channels as well for some of your videos? Because I do see them in German here.
Some videos are in English. I think the most newer videos are in English. And because my language is not so good as yours, I often use Speechify app
Mm-hmm.
to say it in a good language.
Well, that's okay. I mean, you're doing an amazing job with speaking in English. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
So you said you wanted to ask me a couple of questions. Go ahead and ask me. I would love to know what you want to ask me. I have no idea.
Oh, yeah. I would ask you to think you would be this man I think about often, and he was very privileged.
Mhm.
He was called Prince. He was part of high aristocracy, and he was, you can say, he was the right-hand man of the liberator Tsar, Alexander II, and I think the Tsar was one of the most powerful persons at this moment, and he was at his side as a boy. Also, and he was impressed that the Tsar wanted to free the serfs. Those were millions, and to give them freedom, because he thought that's great, because as a little child he had the most fun when just the serfs were surrounding him. When the other noble man and his family, not his brother, but the old noble people, the old aristocrats, were away, and then they danced and had game and had fun, and after that fun they cleaned all, so the old nobleman didn't see nothing happened. You know what I mean?
I do. Yes.
Had the most fun, and they all had a good heart, and um, they often sometimes a peasant woman once asked him and his brother, "Will you be as good as your mother was?" She, like your mother, passed away, unfortunately, but his mother passed away when he was very small.
Mhm.
But all the Slavs always told that this mother was very good, and they asked him, "Will you be as good as her?" She had compassion for us.
Right.
And I think compassion, empathy, that's a real important thing.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with you. I agree.
Thank you.
I think back in those times too, there was a lot of different conflict between the woman's role and the man's role, and then a woman having a son would be more valued than the woman having a daughter, because then the daughter
Okay.
is considered to be a liability because of the dowry. But the son would be an asset because of the dowry and the inheritance, also because he would be the head of the household and possibly a duchess, a duke, or a prince, or a king, or czar. I think that was a really amazing time back then as well for him to be in that era where he lived during a time where um, there were, how would I say, a clear definition on who was who, as in consideration to now where we don't know who is who. We don't know who is where is what. Okay. But
Okay.
back then it was who. You had your high aristocracy, you had your peasants, and there were no one in between, really. There was no
Yes.
in between. So now we have an in between. And we're called the
Okay.
middle class.
Yes.
So that was amazing right there. Yes, definitely. I agree with you.
And he was so happy that the Tsar wanted to free them, but he soon realized that the high nobility put pressure on the Tsar, and so this liberator Tsar, he was all he still called the liberator,
Mhm.
Alexander II, but he, because the pressure of the high nobility, he changed, and his liberation plan was weakened, a light version of it, just, and his woman was for freedom from day one.
Mm.
She had a heart of gold, Maria Alexandrovna. He was from Germany,
Mhm.
Marie, but they called her Maria, and she, you said, often women were regarded less, but women had often an important function, because some women had the good heart, and uh, and she wanted to influence Alexander II to be and stay good, but the high nobility said, "Oh, when the serfs are free, who will do the work for us?" Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, you're totally right. And that has happened not just back then during Alexander the Great's time, but it happened in our current time when Africans came over for slavery and they were let go. The whole fight over the freeing of the slaves was, okay, so who's going to do the work?
Ja, genau.
So now
That's
you
right.
have to do the work yourselves, and now it's a it's a conflict. But get someone else to do it. It's okay. So yeah,
And
and it's been
and
happening over and over again. That is not just a repeat. Alexander the Great. You're talking about Egypt. If you go back to Egypt, if you go back
yes,
to night, you can keep going back to the Mayans and the Incas, and you have a sort of slavery kind of thing where they had people that did the work for them. And then when those people were freed, it was a controversy because they were freed. Now who's going to do the work? That has been like, just repeating itself time and time again.
no, yes. And this is the cause I think it's important because this was not just once. You
Mhm.
said it happens then. It's always.
Oh,
And
wow.
um, my I ask you to, of course, it's easier to take the role of the victim, but please imagine you had the power. You you were a privileged man. You're obviously a woman, but please imagine you were a man and at the side of a very powerful man who wants to free suppressed people. It doesn't have to be served. You told it happens
Yeah.
again and again, and there would be pressure on him not to do it. And what would you do? Because you have two options: do nothing. It's okay what you do. They force you to make a light version of it. Okay. Or you could engage for human rights.
Right. I got you. I got you.
Okay.
In all of the time that there has been slavery or oppression, it's not just one color. It has been
Yeah.
people. It's been Irish people who have been oppressed, and they are clearly not blacks. They're clearly white people. So clearly there has been a certain level, and there have been big levels where millions have been affected, all the way down to just a few, maybe a family or two has been affected. But there is always something that I consider to be inhumane. A person should never be owned and forced to do forced to do something against what they are as a person. A
Mhm.
person to me is a person, someone who is like me, who has the choice as a human being to live a life, to have children, to have a
Exactly.
family, to be who they want to be in life, as long as it's good and doesn't affect anyone in a negative way or even themselves. Everyone should have the right to live the way they want to live and not to be forced to live in a way where they don't want to live and be forced to do manual labor, things that they don't want to do because they're oppressed. They have maybe someone there with a whip or a gun. You know what I mean? There's that factor. And I think, that everyone that puts themselves out there as the freer of the oppressed will truly be hunted down and sought after in a negative way. Look at
Mhm.
Martin Luther King Jr. and Kennedy. They were killed because why? They were the freers of the oppressed. They went out there and they knew it. They knew that their lives was on the line. They knew that the road that they were on to free people, not white, not black, not Hispanics, not Indians, not Chinese, Japanese, wherever you're from, people from
People, yeah.
oppression, that their lives would be the cost of this. So they sacrificed, they understood that their life would probably end short because someone doesn't like what they're doing. And now there's going to be controversy and they're probably going to die because of that. But think about it. Martin Luther King Jr. was an amazing man. Okay. And so was Malcolm X in his own way. And
Right.
in his own way. And then you
I
have
thought
Kennedy.
him too.
President Kennedy. I mean, think about it. He wanted to help people who were oppressed. And what happened? He got killed. He was a white man. There are plenty of white people, plenty of Black people, plenty of people who were like the young lady who wanted to free her country from the female oppression, from not having to wear a hijab. She got killed, young lady. These are just different things. And you have to understand, if you're going to be a person that's going after the rights of another person to live the way they want to live in freedom for themselves, then your life may be on the line. Now, what would I have done? What would I have done? Millions of people or one life? The question isn't a question, because I probably would be like Martin Luther King Jr. Like that young lady that got killed for not wearing the hijab. I probably would be Kennedy or someone like that if I had to do it, because there's millions and one. Okay. Would you save millions of people and just sacrifice the one? Would you sacrifice your life for millions of lives? Well, think about it. If you have children, it's not just millions of lives. It's those lives too. If you have family and friends that have family and friends and they're dear to you, if you have people that you take care of like you and they're going to be affected, would it be millions of lives or one life?
Yeah, but I know what you think, but many people would think, but I have family, they would be in danger too if I engage for human rights.
Yeah.
And my family, my children, he had no children then.
Well, Martin Luther King Jr. did not have children then, but you have to truly understand this. You have to understand this. In order to do this, you have to make a clean separation and you have to give up your life. You have to give up your life completely. It's not something that comes with, oh, I'm going to have my family out there. I'm going to have my family too. You cannot do that. There is a complete sacrifice that you have to make as the person that's going towards human rights. You have to separate yourself from your family. You have to sacrifice that relationship with your family, and you have to completely push them into oblivion. Like, they cannot be known. No one can know. They need to they need to change their names. They need to leave. You cannot have any relations with them. You have to literally, that's why I said it's millions of lives or one life, yours. That's it. Not your family. Your family cannot be you cannot have any relationship with your family if you go in that route.
That's a good solution to keep them anonymous. Safe.
Yeah, keep them anonymous and keep them safe. If you're going to go after that route, you have to do that. And that's going to be your sacrifice. And in the end, you may die alone. But again, if that is your mission, if that's something you want to do, you have to consider millions of lives. And this is your family inside of that millions of lives.
Okay.
Or yours. It's just yours, not your family, not your children, your wife, your husband, your mama, your daddy, whatever. It's just yours. That's it. You're by yourself.
Okay. I think I believe that you would really act so, because that felt so convincing, and you're a big fan of MLK. I have very high regards of him too.
Yeah. Yeah, people should be allowed to live their lives the way they want to live it. Well, I'm not no one's judge, but I definitely think that people should have a life. Whatever that life it should be, where as long as they're not, an evil person, then
Uh,
of course their freedom should be taken away. They shouldn't be hurting themselves or other people. But if they want to live a life and have kids and have a family and they want to have a job or they want to have a business, then let them live.
okay.
Yeah.
And you know what my second question?
What? What is that?
This man, he acted for human rights and he was put to prison, but he managed, with the help of friends, to escape without violence. Just with funny tricks, he escaped and went to exile. And then, after some years, a new regime was in Russia, and he could come back, and 60,000 people welcomed him at the train station. 60,000, that's a lot.
Yeah.
But soon he had to realize that the new regime, they always spoke about freedom, but there was the freedom.
No, still isn't, from what I understand.
And they said to him, you can be the Minister of Education. This would be, again, a privileged life. He could say, no, I'm a minister. I have to work, not much, and I have enough. Or he could, again, engage for human rights. And my question, I think, after you said to the first question that you surely would engage for human rights, I think you would do again.
Yeah. It's like, why you ask me that? It's okay. So if I did it first and I went into exile and I'm back, you think I'm changing my mind? As a matter of fact, I'm back and you're putting me back. That means you agree with me. That means you agree with me and you and me are on the same level. I'm right back where I started and I am not getting down off of my high horse. I am continuing to do what I need to do for the people. I am not stopping. I'm going to keep going. Oh, yeah, definitely. There is no change in mind there. No.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Well, thank you, Frank, for being on the show. I appreciate it so much. And the questions were so amazing. Thank you so much.
Your questions were amazing too.
Thank you.
Of course, your opinion.
Thank you. Well, that's the way you live. You live by your rules and regulations and you stick by them.
Thank you.
And
you too.
Thank you, Frank. And people can find and I'm going to go ahead and put your YouTube back up really quick. People can find you on YouTube, and that's going to be right here. I'm going to go ahead and show that to you. It's Frank Schubert, and I already like it. So it's, we got to do this. I love his name there. It says DJ Mo.
Yeah.
DJ_Mo, M-O. And he only has 61 subscribers. So let's push that up to over 100 subscribers. You guys know what to do. Just go ahead and like his page and go ahead and start researching his videos. I'm sure you will be amazed at just the sheer, what is it? How would I say this? when Frank talks, he's really talking about things that he has studied about, not something that is off the top of his head, or he's just playing around, or he got the cliff notes. No, he's in there. And I need you to be in there as well. So please go ahead and subscribe to his page today. Thank you, Frank, again so much for being here. I appreciate you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you guys
I'm so happy.
Oh, thank you. And thank you guys so much for tuning in. Don't forget to dare to be different. And until next time, guys, bye.
Don't forget to follow us on YouTube and Instagram. Thank you for watching.